In the previous video, we looked at the overall project and saw what we'll be building throughout this series. Today, we're going to create our project, configure the PLC, and prepare everything we need before we start programming. If you're new to TIA Portal, don't worry. I'll also give you a quick tour of the software and introduce the parts we'll be using throughout this series. When you open TIA Portal for the first time, you'll be presented with a screen that looks like this. This is called the Portal view. From here, you can open an existing project or create a new one. Since we're starting from scratch, click Create New Project. You'll now be asked to enter the project details. Let's name our project Four-Way Traffic Lights. Next, choose where you want to save the project. You can also enter an author name and a comment if you like, but I'll leave those fields blank. Once you're ready, click Create. Your new project will open in the Portal view. Although you can begin configuring devices from here, I prefer using the Project view, since it gives you access to all the tools we'll need. To switch views, click the Project View button at the bottom of the screen. Welcome to the Project view. If you've used other engineering software before, this layout will probably look familiar. On the left side is the project tree. Think of this as the home for everything in your project. As we continue building our application, this is where we'll access the PLC, the HMI, program blocks, PLC tags, data types, and many other project components. The first thing we need to do is tell TIA Portal which hardware we'll be using. To do that, click Devices and Networks. This page has three different views: Topology View, Network View, and Device View. For this project, we'll be working mainly in the Network View. On the right side of the screen, you'll see a hardware catalog containing all the devices supported by TIA Portal. The first device we need to add is our PLC. TIA Portal supports several Siemens PLC families, including the Simatic S7300, S7400, S71200, and S71500. Since we'll be simulating this project, we'll use an S71500 compact CPU. If you're following along with a physical PLC, simply choose the CPU model that matches your hardware. Open the S71500 folder and select a CPU with the letter C in its name. The C stands for compact, which means the CPU has built-in digital inputs and outputs. CPUs without the C require separate I/O modules. You'll also notice the letters PN. This indicates that the CPU has an integrated Profinet interface for network communication. I'll choose this CPU and simply drag it into the network view. Like many areas of TIA Portal, drag and drop works here, making it very quick to build your hardware configuration. The first time you add a PLC, you'll see the PLC Security Settings window. Security is an important part of industrial automation, but since we're only creating a simulation, we'll use simpler settings. Uncheck the first option and click Next. Uncheck the second option and click Next again. Finally, under the access level, select Full Access, No Protection, then click Finish. Our PLC has now been added to the project. For this series, I'll be creating the SCADA application using WinCC Explorer, which is separate from TIA Portal. However, if you don't have WinCC Explorer, don't worry. You can still follow along by creating an HMI inside TIA Portal. To do that, open the HMI folder, choose a comfort panel, and select the screen size that best matches the device you want to simulate. Then drag the HMI into the network view, just like we did with the PLC. At this point, we have both devices in our project, but they still need to communicate with each other. To connect them, click the PLC's Profinet port and drag it to the HMI's Profinet port. Once connected, the communication link will appear automatically. Now both devices are configured and ready to exchange data. If you look back at the project tree, you'll notice that new folders have been created automatically. One belongs to the PLC and the other belongs to the HMI. For now, we'll focus on the PLC. Expand the PLC folder. You'll see several folders, but throughout this project we'll mainly be working with program blocks, PLC tags, and PLC data types. We'll start with program blocks. Inside, you'll find main OB1. OB1 is the PLC's main cyclic organization block. Every time the PLC completes one scan cycle, it starts executing the program from OB1 again. This is where we'll write most of our ladder logic throughout the series. Double-click main OB1 to open the ladder editor. This is where we'll be writing our PLC program throughout the series. Across the top, you'll find shortcuts to the ladder instructions you'll use most often, such as normally open contacts, normally closed contacts, output coils, branch instructions, and the instruction box used to insert functions into your program. On the right-hand side, you'll see the instructions pane. Under Basic Instructions, you'll find all of the instruction categories available in TIA Portal. This is where you can access logic operations, timers, counters, comparison instructions, mathematical operations, move instructions, conversion instructions, and many other functions you'll use when building PLC programs. Don't worry if some of these instructions look unfamiliar right now. We'll introduce each one as we need it, explain what it does, and use it in a practical example. By the end of this project, you'll be comfortable using the instructions that matter most. Now that our project is fully configured, we're ready to begin writing the PLC program. But before we can do that, we first need to create the PLC tags that our ladder logic will use. That's exactly what we'll cover in the next video, which is already on your screen. If you're enjoying the series so far, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.